Part 1. The train that skipped stations. I didn't notice it at first. That's probably the worst part. It started like any other late ride home. The platform was almost empty, just a few people scattered around, all minding their own business. My train was already there, doors open, lights on, humming quietly like it always did. Nothing unusual, nothing wrong. I got on, sat near the window, put my headphones in. Same routine. The train started moving. At first, everything was normal. Stations passed one by one. People got off. New people got on. Until one station didn't stop. I frowned slightly, pulling one earbud out. Maybe I just missed it. Maybe it didn't feel like a full stop. Then another station came, and the train didn't slow down. It just passed it. No announcement. No warning. Nothing. I looked around. No one reacted. Everyone was sitting still. Too still. A man across from me was staring at the floor. A woman near the door hadn't blinked once. I pulled out my phone. No signal. Of course. Underground. Still. Something fell off. I stood up and walked toward the doors, expecting at least some kind of system message. Nothing. Just my reflection in the glass. And behind me, people sitting, watching. I turned around quickly. They weren't looking at me, but it felt like they had been. The train sped up, faster than usual, too fast. The lights flickered once, then again, and for a split second, the windows went dark. Not tunnel dark, just black, like there was nothing outside at all. Then the lights came back, and the next station appeared. But something was wrong, very wrong. The sign didn't have a name, just one word. Again, the train slowed down this time, stopped. The doors opened. No one moved. No one got off. No one got on. And then a voice came through the speaker. Not the usual automated one. Something softer, closer, almost like it was right next to me. You missed it. My chest tightened. Missed what? I whispered without thinking. Silence. Then after a few seconds, the same voice. You're stopped. The doors closed. The train started moving again, faster than before. And this time, everyone on the train turned their heads at the same time toward me. Part 2. The train that skipped stations. For a moment, I couldn't move. Every single person on that train was looking at me. Not quickly, not suddenly, slowly, like their attention had been pulled toward me by something invisible. Their heads turned at the exact same speed, stopped at the exact same angle, and then they just stared. No blinking, no expressions, just watching. My throat went dry. Okay, this isn't normal, I muttered under my breath, trying to ground myself, trying to find anything that made sense. I forced a nervous laugh and looked away, pretending not to notice. But the feeling didn't go away. You know that feeling when someone is staring at you? Multiply that by 10. I could feel it from every direction. I walked toward the next carriage, slowly at first, then faster. The door slid open automatically. The next car looked identical. Same seats, same lights, same silence, and more people sitting still, watching. I froze in the doorway because the moment I stepped in, every single person in that carriage turned toward me too. Same movement, same timing, like they were all connected. No! I stepped back immediately, the door closing behind me with a soft mechanical hiss that sounded way too loud in the silence. My heart was racing now. I pulled out my phone again. Still no signal. Still no time. The screen was frozen, except for one thing. A notification. Unknown sender. No number. Just text. You should have gotten off. I stared at it. My fingers hovered over the screen. Gotten off where? I whispered. The train suddenly jerked. Hard. The lights flickered again, longer this time, plunging everything into near darkness for a few seconds. And in that darkness, I heard something, not from the speakers, not from the tracks, from the people. Whispers, dozens of them, layered, overlapping, all saying the same thing. Too late, too late, too late. The lights came back. Silence again. The people weren't moving, like nothing had happened, like they hadn't just spoken. I backed away slowly, my body tense, my mind racing for an explanation. This is some kind of prank, it has to be. But even as I said it, I didn't believe it, because then I looked at the window again. And this time, I didn't see my reflection. I saw the train, from the outside, moving through a completely empty space. No tunnels, no walls, just darkness, and something else far in the distance. Shapes, massive, slowly shifting, watching the train pass. My breath caught. I stumbled back. No, 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 no. The train began to slow again. Another station, but this one looked different. The lights were dim, flickering. The platform wasn't empty. There were people standing there, dozens of them, not moving, just waiting. And then I realized something that made my chest tighten. They weren't facing the train. They were facing away from it. All of them, like they were refusing to look. The train stopped. The doors opened. No announcement this time. No voice. Just silence. And then one person on the platform moved. Slowly, they turned their head. Just slightly. Enough for me to see their face. It was me. Part 3. The train that skipped stations. I couldn't look away, even though every instinct screamed at me to. The person on the platform was me. Same face, same clothes, same expression. But something about it felt off. Not wrong in an obvious way, just slightly delayed, like it didn't fully match reality. My chest tightened as I took a step closer to the door. Outside, the platform remained unnaturally still. The other figures didn't move, didn't react. Only that one version of me, still half-turned, watching, waiting. Okay, think, I whispered to myself, my voice shaking now. This is not real. This is just a loop. The voice didn't come from a speaker. It came from outside, from me. I froze. You're seeing it now, he said calmly. His lips moved slightly out of sync with the sound, like the audio was catching up. What is this place? I asked, my throat dry. A pause. Then, between stops, the words hung in the air. I frowned. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't need to, he replied. The lights above me flickered again. Longer this time. The train groaned softly, like something deep inside it was shifting. You missed your stop, he continued. I didn't even know where I was supposed to get off. I snapped. For the first time, he smiled. Not wide, not creepy, just tired. That's the point. My stomach dropped. What does that mean? He stepped closer to the edge of the platform now. Closer to the train. Closer to me. Everyone feels it, he said. That moment, that hesitation, when something tells you this isn't right. My mind flashed back instantly. The skipped stations. The silence. The way no one reacted. Yeah, I whispered. You felt it, he said. And you stayed. The words hit harder than anything else. Stayed. Just like that bus. Just like, no, this was different. So what happens now? I asked quietly. For a moment, he didn't answer. Instead, he looked past me, into the train, at the passengers, then back at me. They wait, he said. My chest tightened. For what? For you to decide. Silence? A long, heavy silence. I looked behind me slowly at the people sitting inside. Their faces hadn't changed. But now, I noticed something new, something I hadn't seen before. They weren't all identical anymore. Some looked older, some younger, some looked like me. Different versions, different moments, different outcomes. All sitting there, all watching. They got off, I whispered. It wasn't a question. He nodded slightly. Once, my pulse started pounding in my ears. And then they came back. A chill ran through my entire body. No, why would anyone come back? He held my gaze. Because they don't remember. The world seemed to tilt for a second. They go back, he continued. They live. They forget the feeling. And then one day, he tilted his head slightly. They hesitate again. The train behind me creaked softly, like it was listening, waiting. And if I don't get off? I asked. A long pause, then quietly. Then you move forward. The words felt heavier than they should. Forward to what? He didn't answer. Instead, he stepped back, slowly, returning to his place among the other figures, facing away from the train again. Like before, like all of them, the lights flickered violently. The doors began to close. No, wait. I stepped forward instinctively. The doors stopped, half open, like the train itself was waiting for my choice. I stood there, between inside and outside, between staying and leaving. And for the first time, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't the first time I had been here. Part 4. The train that skipped stations. I stood frozen in the doorway, half inside the train, half outside. The air felt different on each side. Inside, heavy, still, almost controlled. Outside, cold, unstable, like something unfinished. I looked at him again, at myself standing on the platform. This isn't the first time, is it? I asked quietly. For a moment, he didn't move, didn't speak. Then slowly, he turned his head fully toward me. No, he said. The word landed with a weight that felt too familiar. How many times? I asked. He didn't answer directly. Instead, he glanced at the train behind me. At first, you don't notice, he said. You get on. You ride. You feel something is wrong. You ignore it. My chest tightened. And then I whispered, you miss your stop. The words echoed inside me. And after that, I asked. A pause. You panic. Another pause. You look for a way out. My grip tightened on the door frame. And then you find this place, he continued. Between. The platform flickered slightly, like it wasn't fully stable. And you think this is your chance to fix it. I swallowed hard. Isn't it? For the first time, he stepped closer again, right up to the edge of the platform, close enough now that I could see every detail of his face. My face, but calmer, like someone who had already accepted something I was still fighting. It is a chance, he said quietly, but not the way you think. My heart was pounding again. What happens if I step off? I asked. He looked at the road behind him. It stretched into the distance, fading into a dim, undefined space. You go back, he said. To where? To a version of your life. Something about the way he said it made my stomach drop. A version? I repeated. He nodded, close enough that you won't question it. A cold wave of realization hit me. And I forget, I said. It wasn't a question. He nodded again. Every time. Silence. I looked back into the train, at the passengers. Now I saw clearly. They weren't just random people. They were all me. Different versions, different outcomes, different choices. Some looked calm. Some looked terrified. Some of them looked like they were fully there anymore. They stayed, I whispered. Yes. And the ones outside? I asked. They left. A pause. Once. The meaning hit instantly. They came back, I said. Yes. My chest felt tight, like the air itself was pressing against me. So there's no way out, I said quietly. He shook his head. There is. I looked at him sharply. What? For the first time, there was something new in his expression. Not calm, not tired, something closer to honesty. You stopped choosing the same thing. The words lingered in the air. I frowned. That doesn't make any sense. He stepped even closer, close enough now that we were almost mirror images, separated only by the threshold of the train. It will, he said, when you realize, a pause, that this isn't where the choice starts. My breath caught. What do you mean? He looked directly into my eyes, and for the first time, there was something almost human there. Think, he said softly. Before the train, my mind raced. The platform, the feeling, that moment when something felt wrong, when I hesitated and still got on. My stomach dropped. No, I whispered. He nodded slowly. That was the only real choice. Everything else, the train, the stations, the loops, was just the result. Silence filled the space between us. The train hummed softly behind me. Waiting, the platform flickered again. Less stable now, like time was running out. This is your last stop, he said quietly. I looked at the doors. They were still open, but barely, like they wouldn't stay that way much longer. I looked back at him, and if I go back, a long pause. You'll forget. And if I stay? He didn't answer immediately. Then quietly, you won't. Final, the train that skipped stations. I stood there, breathing slowly, trying to hold on to the moment. Because for the first time, everything made sense. Not in a comforting way, in a way that made everything worse. This isn't where the choice starts, I repeated quietly. He nodded. My mind went back, further, before the train, before the platform. That moment, I remembered it clearly now. Standing there, waiting, tired, distracted, and then that feeling, subtle, almost nothing, just a quiet thought in the back of my mind. Something isn't right. And I ignored it. I got on anyway. That was it. That was the real moment. Everything after was already decided. I exhaled slowly, feeling something inside me settle. Not fear, understanding. I looked at him one last time, at the version of me that had already accepted all of this. So this is just the result, I said. Yes. And there's no fixing it here. No. Silence. The train behind me vibrated softly like it was losing patience. The doors twitched slightly. Time was running out. I turned back toward the inside, at all the versions of me, sitting, waiting, watching, then back at him. You stayed, I said. He nodded. Why? A long pause, then quietly, because I wanted to remember. Something about that answer felt heavier than anything else he had said. I looked at the platform again, at the empty, unstable space behind him, at the road that wasn't really a road, at the idea of going back, living, forgetting, repeating. I closed my eyes, and for the first time, I didn't feel panic, just clarity. I stepped back, fully into the train. The doors closed instantly, sealing the choice. The platform outside flickered violently and disappeared, like it had never existed. The train began to move, faster than before. The windows darkened again, swallowing everything outside. I stood still for a moment, feeling the shift settle into place. Then slowly, I walked forward toward the driver's cabin. No one stopped me. No one reacted. The passengers remained seated, silent, as if they had always known how this would end. I stepped inside. The driver's seat was empty. Waiting, of course. I sat down. My hands rested on the controls. And just like that, I understood, not everything, but enough. Enough to know where the train goes. Enough to know what it does. It doesn't take you somewhere. It keeps you moving. Between moments, between choices, between versions of yourself. I looked into the reflection on the front glass. My face stared back at me, but calmer now, still, like his had been. Behind me, I heard movement for the first time. The passengers shifted slightly, settling, accepting, becoming part of the rhythm. I exhaled slowly, then reached forward, and the train responded, smoothly, naturally, like it had been waiting for me. I don't know how long it's been. Time doesn't pass the same way here. Sometimes it feels like minutes, sometimes like years. The stations come and go, some with names, some without. Some I recognize, some I don't. But every now and then, there's one that matters. A normal platform, a real one, with someone standing there, waiting, tired, distracted, just like I was. And I watch them carefully, because I know the moment, that tiny hesitation, that quiet feeling, something isn't right. Sometimes they step back and walk away. And when they do, the train doesn't stop. It just passes. And for a brief moment, something changes. The train feels lighter, quieter, like something has been avoided. But most of the time, they step inside. They don't even realize they've made the choice. They just sit down, like it's normal, like it's nothing. And that's when I look at them, just once, and ask the same question I was asked. Come, neutral, like it doesn't matter. But it does. Last stop, and the train keeps moving, not toward a place, but toward a moment, the only one that ever mattered, the one they've already passed.